Hey, what is up guys, Murgaman4 here, and just yesterday, some massive Series 11 news got announced. It's all very exciting stuff. We got a confirmation of when Series 11 is going to air, the fact that there's going to be a new format in terms of the episodes for Series 11, and who our companions for the 13th Doctor will be. So this is all very exciting stuff, and I'm here to give you my thoughts and opinions on it all. So let's start with the simplest of the three, and that would be that Series 11 will be airing in autumn 2018, which comes as a surprise to absolutely nobody, because this has been the heavily rumored air date for Series 11 for a long time. I can't recall how long it's been rumored like that, but as far back as I can remember, Series 11 has always been rumored to have aired in autumn 2018, and so that's not a shocker whatsoever. It's just kind of frustrating that we keep having this flip-flop back and forth of when the series are airing. Ever since Series 6, it's been all over the place. And then when Peter Capaldi took over, we had 2 years in autumn, then we went back to spring, now we're back in autumn again. So, I don't know, does this mean that autumn is going to be the regular time that Doctor Who's going to air during Chibnall's era? Or is this just a one-off thing so that Chibnall has enough time to create this new series as good as he can, and then it's going to switch back to spring? I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out. Probably a long time until we hear any Series 12 news. But yeah, so that's about it on that. I don't really have much to say about it other than that. The second piece of news is the new format that this series is going to have. Now, this has kind of been a more recent rumor. I think maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago, rumors started going about that Series 11 would be comprised of 10 instead of 12 episodes, and that each episode would be extended to 60 minutes. This rumor turned out to be partially true, and unfortunately that partial truth is not for the better in my opinion. 10 60-minute episodes, yes, that would mean we'd be losing 2 episodes, but I would be on board for that, because overall we would be having even more runtime than 13 45-minute episodes. However, what we ended up getting is 10 50-minute episodes, which, yes, the episodes are extended, which I am all for. I am glad that the episodes are extended, but the fact that we're losing 2 entire episodes just to gain 5 minutes per episode doesn't seem like a fair trade-off to me. I don't think that 2 whole episodes of Doctor Who per year are worth giving up for just 5 extra minutes of screen time per episode. Perhaps 10? I think 10 I would start to feel okay with that, but 5 is just not enough. Especially considering that it's not like we never reach the 50-minute mark with Doctor Who episodes. I think just from Peter Capaldi's era, we have 5 episodes that are longer than 50 minutes that are not including Christmas specials. And then we have at least 3 or 4 episodes that are closer to 50 minutes than the regular 45 minutes. And so obviously that's not the majority, but it's really not a whole lot of extra time. And so you're really only looking at a couple of minutes difference per episode, which in all honesty really isn't enough to fix the main issues that people complain about the 45-minute running time, which is that the plot ends up getting too rushed, mainly the resolution. There's not enough time for the story to breathe. And I don't think that 50 minutes is enough time to fill all that out. 55 might be, 60 I think definitely would be, and I think part of my major disappointment is that it was rumored for 60, and that would have been great, but the fact that it's 10 minutes less than that is really disappointing. And it just sucks, because with 10 60-minute episodes, you would get about 600 minutes of total screen time, whereas with Series 1 to 7, you were having about 13 45-minute episodes, which is 585 minutes of screen time. Series 8 to 10 were about 12 45-minute episodes, which is about 540 minutes total, and now with 10 50-minute episodes, we're only getting 500 minutes total. Now, however, it is a little bit more than that, because it has been announced that episode 1 will be an hour long, which I'm really glad to hear, but it just It's really disappointing. My main disappointment is just losing 2 whole episodes. Maybe even 1 episode I would be okay with. Because if we had 11 50-minute episodes, that would still be longer than 12 45-minute episodes. And it's not even the fact that it's, a total overall runtime. It's just the fact that 5 minutes is not a whole lot to be able to add to a story. 5 minutes is not going to make as much of a difference as you would probably need in those rushed stories. So to me, it doesn't really feel like we're gaining anything because we're losing so much. But anyways, what can you do? I mean, hopefully 50 minutes will be a little bit easier to work with than the 45 minutes, but we'll have to wait and see. I think my main disappointment about losing episodes is the fact that we lose a little bit of variety. Because with less episodes, you're not going to be able to tell as many stories, obviously. And I like being able to see all sorts of different adventures in all sorts of different places. Some on Earth, some in space, some back in time, some forward in time. And you just get less variety with less episodes by default because of that. And so hopefully with what we get, it is really strong. And it uses the 50 minutes well. It's just really too bad that we're not going to have as many adventures because of this. Of course, the third and probably biggest part of this announcement is we know who the companions will be for Series 11. And it's not just 1 companion, it's a total of 3, which is crazy. We haven't had a full season of 3 companions, I think since the Peter Davison era. And so it'll be really interesting to see how they handle this. Our 3 companions are Graham, who's played by Bradley Walsh. He was rumored to be the new companion, I think about 2 months ago, and then the rumors just kind of stopped out of nowhere. And I guess people just kind of assumed that that wasn't true, but here we go. Apparently it is. We also have Yasmin, played by Mandeep Gill, and we have Ryan, who's played by Tosin Cole. Now, first things first, I'm not really familiar with any of these actors. I only first heard about Bradley Walsh because of the rumors a couple months ago, and both Tosin and Mandeep are completely new to me. And so I don't really have any sort of idea what their acting experiences and abilities are, but just basing off of what we're able to see, what we know, it's really interesting to see the variety and demographics we have with this TARDIS team. And I kind of like that, because it gives a little bit more variety than just modern-day Earth girl in her 20s, because that's been the vast majority of companions that we have had. It's been getting kind of frustrating recently. So from the looks of it, Tosin and Mandeep are both relatively young. I would guess probably in their mid-20s or so. And then we also have Bradley Walsh, who is in his 50s, which I think is great because we rarely get to see that demographic, because most of them are women and most of them are young. And so it's great to see an older male be stepping into that companion role. So I'm really excited to see where they take that. I do hope he's the main companion, I think mainly just because of that kind of demographic, because we haven't seen that properly in the show as a companion before. And I believe that Bradley Walsh is the oldest actor to play a companion in the show, which is pretty exciting. I'm really interested to see what that kind of dynamic will be, especially with a younger female doctor. So I do have 2 main concerns though. I mean, yes, we have some variety in age, and we also have some racial diversity as well in our companions, which is also really great to have. But I'm worried that all of these people will be from 21st century Earth again. I'm really hoping that at least one of them will not be from 21st century Earth. Either they're from the past, or from the future, or from some different planet. Just, to shake it up a bit. And I do kind of hope that these people don't know each other beforehand, because that would really make for a bit of a more interesting dynamic, I think. Especially if they come from these different walks of life. I think that would be really cool to see what the differences between them are. But yeah, it's really frustrating, once again, to see all these companions from the same time period as well, and from the same general place. So it'd be really nice to not just get some variety in the actors and actresses who play the companions, but also in the actual characters themselves and where they come from, which was really nice to see in Nardole last season, because we haven't had that properly in a while. My other main concern is how well the dynamic will work between 4 people in the TARDIS, because that is a lot of people to be able to juggle in a story. I think it will probably be helpful that the runtime of the episodes is a little bit longer, but once again, I do think 60 minutes would have done a world of wonders, especially in this area as well, because With 4 characters, you probably don't have a ton of time to be able to flesh out each one properly, especially if they're all introduced in the same episode. Because there's so many of them, and you also have the job of introducing a new Doctor, which I think is more important in this case than the new companion. I really hope that not all of them are introduced in the first episode of the series. Well, maybe introduced, but not in a major role, just to be able to get us to know some of these other characters better, and we don't have to keep either switching back and forth or trying to cram all this information into such a small space of time. And that way, if they're introduced separately from each other, I feel like we're able to relate with them better, and their characters will be able to be much more fleshed out as we're able to spend more time with them. And hopefully we'll also not be left with a kind of situation where some of the companions don't have anything to do because there's too many of them. But yeah, hopefully the writers are able to work around that. That would be awesome. And if they can, I think that this is going to turn out to be a really great TARDIS team. I think the main thing for me now, before I can start envisioning this series in my head, is I'm going to have to see them actually in a picture in character, especially the Doctor, because to me, I'm sorry, but Jodie Whittaker just doesn't really look the part to me. I think being able to see her in the outfit she's going to wear as the Doctor will really help with that. And so it'll be really great when we get to see all these characters in some sort of actual proper picture from the series, to be able to help suck you into that world. Because right now, they're just actors. They're not their characters yet. So I'm really excited to see how that will look and how it will feel. And yeah, so this just gets me really excited for this series. It's definitely changing things up a lot, which I am kind of cautiously optimistic about, because it could go either way. Whenever you make a major change up, it could turn out to be for the best, or it could turn out to be for the worst, and there's no way of telling until the series airs. So we just have to hope it'll be for the best. And so that's basically how I'm feeling. I'm excited for the potential that this news can have and where the series might be able to go with this, but I'm also aware that there is a possibility they could do it poorly, and it might not turn out as good as people hope. So I'm hoping it'll turn out good, but I'm prepared just in case it doesn't go amazing. But I mean, right now, we don't really have a whole lot to go on, so we can't make any sort of those proper judgments yet. It's just kind of feelings, I guess. You can't form a solid opinion yet, because there's no telling where these characters are going to go, where the adventures are going to take them. But yeah, so that's my thoughts and opinions on these different bits of news for Series 11. And please share your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. I'd be really interested in seeing what others think of this. And yeah, so it's really cool news. Can't wait until we get to hear more about what's going to happen in Series 11. It'll definitely be interesting. I think that's the word I would probably best describe my feeling towards it right now. Interesting. But yeah, so that's it for this Thoughts and Opinions video. I hope you enjoyed. And Mergaman4, over and out. I'll see you guys later.